you started in commercial real estate and fish and chips and things. How did you end up building your agency, Linkify?
I got sucked into the online space via these blog income reports that you used to see. Within a year, I was making $1,000 a month. But the first ever link that I got was New York Times. If you have got trusted, credentialed authors on the website, the content's been reviewed. If those authors are real, genuine authors and experts in their field, if the content is good, if all of this is good for smaller sites with just a handful of these links, you get a big jump in domain rating. And we also see uptick in traffic. Google's fundamentally trying to reduce its index by 40% now by getting rid of bad content. You can see AI as being this sort of polluter of the information space.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to another episode where I'll be interviewing SEO experts and entrepreneurs from around the world. In today's episode, I'll be talking to a friend that I met all the way back in 2022 at my Phuket November conference. He took a lot away from that conference and flipped and scaled his agency into a six-figure a month digital BR behemoth. Please welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen, Chris Panteli.
Thank you very much for having me, Charles. Yeah, God, doesn't seem like just a week ago we were at the Phuket Mastermind, does it? How time has flown.
I know, literally, yeah. Time flies fast when you're having fun, right? And
yeah,
and especially when there's just continually things to do, right? And we've just experienced that with the March updates and stuff. So how are you getting on with the March core and spam update so far? Are your clients all looking good?
Yeah, I mean, our sites haven't really been affected. Obviously, we build a lot of like PR expert quote links to our own sites, but client-wise, we haven't really seen that much yet. No one's really emailed in to say they've been affected. I'm not really seeing anyone de-indexed. So at the moment, things are okay, I suppose, but I know a lot of people are struggling. So
yeah, 100%.
not a great, yeah.
Yeah, you see it on Twitter, right? And it's just,
yeah,
it's a bit
Twitter is a cesspool at the minute. You got to not stay on it for too long.
yeah. Yeah, it's definitely bad for your mental health to be on that platform for too long right now.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
I want to get back to your agency, right? So you started in kind of commercial real estate and fish and chips and things and stuff and all sorts of things in the UK, and you hated it, right? And you wanted to flip into this digital life that you've seen from blogging and stuff. How did you end up building your agency, Linkify?
So the fish and chip shop industry was, I could see, was in a state of decline, possibly, especially with the increased like VAT, the shift in sort of trends for like consumer behavior in what they're eating. And it's a hard job as well. It's a physical job, 12 hours a day, stood up. I had my degree from university, and I got sucked into the online space via these like blog income reports that you used to see. So I remember thinking, man, this is definitely something that I can try. With my like finance background, maybe I could give this a go. So I started a personal finance website, and within a year, I was up to like making $1,000 a month. Getting traffic. And I thought, wow, this is awesome. This is definitely something that I could do. And I also, at that time as well, had gotten into building backlinks via HARO, so answering journalist requests. And I remember the first ever link that I got was that I won was New York Times. That was a do follow, and I remember thinking, "Oh, this is good." So I sort of really honed that strategy and managed to get a boatload more links. At the same time, I wanted to do build some guest post links to inner pages to try and rank some of the money pages, but I didn't have time to do it, so I wanted to outsource that. And that's when I found my now business partner. So I hired him to do some of this guest post outreach, and he'd looked into my site and said, "Hey, where'd you get all of these like New York Times, Forbes? How'd you get all these links?" And I explained, via this platform, HARO, pitching journalist requests on Twitter, HARO quoted press plugs. And he said, "Hey, look, I've got some clients that would kill for these links. Can you do this for some of my clients?" So I said, "Yeah, I can try." After 12 hours in the fish and chip shop, finishing at maybe 10, 11 o'clock at night, and then writing HARO pitches for his clients, and we were winning links for them, and we basically saw an organic demand for this, because we were completing these orders for his clients. They were loving it. They were rebuying. More people were asking. And that was the time that COVID struck. So I needed to make a decision. And as basically as soon as we saw that there was like a demand for it, we tested the concept, that proved that like it was something we could grow. That's when I looked to sell the shop and move into that full time.
So you've been acquiring clients from a range of kind of avenues and things. What's been your best channel so far? I think you've worked with like affiliates, Twitter, LinkedIn, ads, you've done conferences, you've done everything. How have you got kind of your best and biggest clients so far?
Yeah, I would say influencer. So we started with a really simple strategy. Just obviously, if you get into this game, you start following people such as yourself, people like John Dykstra. Followed these boys and women on Twitter. Niche Like Ladies, another one. Interacted with them, loved what they were doing with their content, and decided to sort of say, hey, look, this is something that we can do, which is really valuable. It's not a hard sell as well, because these are like good links, white hat, risk-free. So it was really an easy sort of sell. Like, hey, do you want us to build you a few of these for free? And if you think it's good, if you think it's a good service, promote us with an affiliate link. And that really allowed us to grow quickly, because it was a really easy value proposition to meet these people. We did a good service, delivered a good product, and then other people wanted to buy it. So I would say that was our initial best customer acquisition strategy. And then ads is okay. We do okay with ads, but I would say conferences and networking is just something which absolutely pays back in spades. The ROI is hard to measure, and the timeframes can be crazy, but doing things like podcasts and networking, going to conferences pays dividends and snowballs as well. So yeah, I would definitely recommend it.
So personal brand building kind of exercises as well, right? To
Yeah,
try and get your
definitely.
name out there along with your company name, because I also believe that people resonate significantly more with people than companies, right? So that's why I've always tried to stick my personal brand on things more so than having separated brands as well, right?
Yeah, agreed. And I think it's all about touch points as well. I think if you do one podcast, you do another podcast, and then you go to a conference and someone goes, oh, I remember him from that. Once they start seeing you 4, 5, 6 times, that's when the conversion can come. So like I said, it can be years, as long as years, possibly these timeframes. But if you start planting all of these seeds early, that's when it can really come to fruition.
Yes, awesome. So
Yeah.
what are some of the ways that you've increased your response and placement rates via HARO?
By reducing the number of pitches that we send. We're living in a golden era, I would say, for this sort of link building, because never before has it been so easy to send pitches, which means the journalists' inboxes are bombarded, but they are bombarded with shite. So it's actually easier than ever to stand out in amongst the shit with a really well-crafted pitch. So when we first started doing this, AI was a thing, but it wasn't like a scalable tool, and in no way was it. It needed a lot of human editing. I don't remember if you remember tools like there was a couple of free AI writers on like AppSumo, the first ones that came out. So we were testing these, and it would speed up a little bit, but the pitch response, it would speed it up. It would allow us to sort of send more pitches, but the quality wasn't there. So maybe you were sending twice as many pitches, but they were half as good. But because not many people were adopting AI, it meant that this increased rate of pitching actually had a better ROI than sending fewer pitches, because we were able to send so many, and the journalist inboxes, they weren't getting absolutely spammed. But now they're getting spammed. It's better to absolutely 100% send much more better crafted pitches, and also to understand your ability to win based on the client that you're pitching for, the expert that you're pitching as, the credentials that expert has, the quality of the domain, the publication, the journalist that's requesting for a source on that particular publication. So the data that we collect on all of those elements allows us to be much more hyper-focused and targeted on what we're pitching, and that allows us to win at a much better rate than if we were just sending as much as we could to everywhere. And as well, a lot of these platforms, it's not a curated list of source requests. So hashtag journo request on Twitter, connectively HARO quoted press blogs, all of those platforms, they don't curate. So there is as much spam on the side of the requests coming in as the spam that's being sent back to those requests. So you really do need to be able to hand select those queries and know if it's a good domain, if it's a real trustworthy site, if it's a good publication, if you're not just going to get an email back saying they want to do a 3-way link swap, or if you give them $100 they'll include a link. You got to know all of this so that you are absolutely maximizing those requests and winning links on the absolute best publications.
And now for a quick message from our sponsor, Search Intelligence. If you're looking for digital PR campaigns, what you're about to see should impress you.
What a masterpiece PR link building campaign. With 20 links in big publications such as The Sun, Express, Mirror, Wales Online, and still landing, I would say this campaign is a massive success. We told the press that people should turn on their heating this summer if they want to save money next winter. And we landed over 20 links in national and regional UK publications for our boiler client. That's crazy. The campaign hook was pretty clever. It is a known fact, at least in the boiler trade, that if you keep your boiler off for many months, it might rust and it might get you into trouble if you keep it turned off from spring to next winter. We therefore advise the press, with an expert commentary piece, on behalf of our boiler client, that people should turn on their boilers this summer just when the heat wave is in full swing. This way they can avoid a boiler failure next winter and save money. Massive publications picked up our story, including The Sun, Express, Mirror, Wales Online, and a few more dozen publications, giving our client links, lots of links, and lots of happiness hormones. No wonder that so many journalists covered our story, as this headline is a massive link magnet to their audience. This case study highlights the fact that a clever hook can be applied to any insight or story to make a campaign more successful and more compelling to journalists. Can you imagine when people see this headline in the news, "You should turn on your boiler this summer"? There's no way they would not click on it. I would click on it. So this was the hook, and this is why this campaign was so successful. I hope this video inspires and shows you what's possible with a clever hook.
I'm going to start with prospecting and make sure that you get everything really, really perfect. Then you get the perfect pitch so that you really stand out, and then hopefully you just continue that cycle and scale it up so that you win amazing links, right? That kind of sound like the process. Awesome, perfect. So what kind of success have you seen between these sort of digital PR campaigns and real world rankings and sites and search, especially for sites who didn't perhaps have as high authority links as you've been able to get them now?
Yeah, well, I mean, you do see a big jump in like vanity metrics for smaller sites. So DR and traffic as well, which isn't a vanity metric, but you know, an important metric. But when you have a site that's a small site, but it's a good site, so in this era of the March core update and the spam update, what we're seeing much better success with is where everything tracks through from the website to begin with. So if you have got trusted, credentialed authors on the website behind the content, it doesn't have to be who's handwritten every content, but at least reviewed. If the content's been reviewed, if that tracks through on author profiles, bylines, if those authors are real, genuine authors and experts in their field, and then you can include that information via like same as schema on the website. If those authors have written for other publications that are well known, if the content is good, if all of this is good for like smaller sites, with just a handful of these links, you get a big jump in domain rating. And we also see like a really nice either uptick in traffic, or if it's a really new site, then we do sort of see that sandbox coming out of that sandbox. We also see as well, it can trigger for, we took a site that was really new and nothing had been indexed yet. And we built one good link, and all of a sudden the site was indexed and traffic started going up. We also see sites that continually build these sorts of links. So they have an existing high domain authority, existing good content, and existing good level of traffic. We have seen across a number of clients that they're much less impacted by these broad core updates or these changes that Google make. It seems to hold the authority that they've already built, and I think Google probably gets a sense that if you're continually being linked to from high authority news publications, it sort of maintains a level of understanding between Google and that site that they are still an authority. And then for sites that already have high traffic, high authority, and they're building more of these links, it goes beyond the benefits of Google. So obviously you're getting really good logos for your press badge. You're increasing the trust signals that you have directly with your customers. So we're doing really well with like e-com sites at the minute, service sites, local SEO sites. These places, they love to see a sexy logo on the front page. It instills trust in the customer. They're going to buy your product or service. So it goes far and beyond the value that you get algorithmically from Google.
100%. I totally agree as well. How much are you using AI within this kind of style of link building? And are there any specific tools aside from obviously just ChatGPT that you're using as well?
Yeah, we're moving away from ChatGPT. We use AI, obviously. I think you'd be crazy not to, why wouldn't you to use it? What you need to do is not use it. I mean, I spoke at your conference in Dubai recently, so you need to we talk about how you can use it, but you just need to use it better than everybody else is using it, and don't use it in a vanilla fashion. So if you go onto ChatGPT and you ask the question that the journalist has asked, you're going to get the same answer that the other 500 people that are spamming these platforms are going to get. And the journalist knows that. Journalists are professional writers. That's what they do for a living. They don't even need to use a tool to check it. They can see that it's been written by AI. But obviously using it for ideation is fantastic, and then constructing a pitch, and then having a human edited touch on top of that, and making sure you've got all your core elements of a good pitch in there as well. So like a quotable line, some linguistic flurry, an interesting hook that's gonna get the journalist excited and want to include your pitch. But yeah, some tools. I mean, I think Gemini is really good at the minute. Anthropic's new model is very, very interesting. Early tests for that, but it's interesting. And then we use AI detection tools as well to make sure that our stuff's passing authority. AI image generation as well. Journalists always want images. Sometimes that's hard to come by. So depending on your ethical stance on, but I've just been in the news today about this. I don't know if you've seen the Kate Middleton image. It's just been, they've released an image and it's gone all over the Associated Press, and they've just had to like pull the image across every platform because it's AI. You can see it. It's crazy. So yeah, depending on, if someone's asking for an image of a barn conversion, then you don't want to lose the link because you can't provide the image. So the AI tools are getting better and better and better with that as well. So ideogram is one we've been looking at as well for image generation, and then obviously the other big ones as well. So what's the main one? It's just gone in my mind.
Darling or Midjourney.
The Midjourney, yeah, Midjourney is really good, but you got to make sure they look real. So play with your prompts. Yeah.
What's your predictions for this whole AI future, especially within digital PR then?
God, I don't know. I mean, whatever I say is going to be completely outdated, isn't it, in about a day? I think it's in terms of PR, it's going to allow for, I think, for more creativity and faster turnaround time to go from idea to outreach. But and then also as well, the sort of data that you can gather. So the really exciting thing is data campaigns. I think people love data. We always need new data, but data has historically been hard to interpret. So it's not so hard to come by. There's loads of sources for data. There's some amazing like no-code AI tools now you can use for web scraping and amassing huge quantities of data. And then the AI tools are so good at looking at that data and then finding correlations or interesting points that stand out. And what are interesting correlations of data? That is the headline of a successful PR campaign. So that is what is really, really exciting. So we're looking at building ways that we can like interact with agents in order to grab data and then find correlations as well. So we're in early days of trying to build those systems. A lot of that was from your conference as well, so thank you for that. But yeah, I think as the weeks and months go by, I think the access to data and the ability to interpret data in creative ways is going to be a huge impact with AI.
Yeah, so prediction, forecasting, and kind of ideation are kind of the main three ones for digital PRO, which I agree are going to be the kind of the massive future. And it'll be really interesting to see how those systems that you're implementing come to fruition in the next 6 to 12 months, right? Because I really think that will massively help scale your business even more.
Definitely, yeah. I think if the more data that you can build and have access to and interpret as well is going to be the more successful that you are as a PR agency or link building PR agency. Yeah, and I think it's a really cool way that, I mean, you get Google's like fundamentally trying to like reduce its index by 40% now by getting rid of like bad content. So you can see AI as being this sort of polluter of the information space, but it can do so much good as well, I think. And it's so exciting what you can what real impactful information that you can extract with AI, that I think Google's doing its job to protect it. You know, I'm assuming it wants to reduce its index size for cost saving purposes. But that doesn't mean that we can't use AI in creative ways in order to, you know, win links, build brands, and make businesses do better.
100%. Well, I appreciate you coming on. Is there anywhere where people can find you online?
Yeah, Linkify.io, and then Twitter, Linkify_. Just reach out to me. Yeah, it'd be great to connect. Thank you for having me, Charles. A pleasure.
No worries. I'll put the link in the description for all that down below, and I'll see you guys next episode. Peace.